that we have seen in the stock of Ola Electric. Clearly, it is all charged up. So what is aiding this move and what's not? We'll try to decode that. And first up, let's start with the bull case scenario. And first point, of course, is accelerating sales. Remember, sales for Ola Electric has risen manifold in the fourth quarter, and the management continues to remain very positive. 23% growth on a month-on-month basis is what it reported versus industry growth of about just 15%. So clearly, Avi, it has grown faster than the industry average, and the market share gains were also very impressive, isn't it?
Well, I agree with that, but I would like to counter that the FY26 losses have expanded to now at around 2200 odd crores, and with a negative operating cash flow, the auditor for FY26 filing has also flagged the going concern basis, which is a very big thing for Ola as a negative.
Well, yes, so losses are a concern, but let's also talk about investor confidence, because the company recently raised about 500 crores via QIP, which means that the investors continue to remain confident, isn't it?
Well, that is true, but what I see is the price movement, and I can see that the stock has fallen by almost 85% from its post-listing high of around 157 rupees to the low of around 22.5 at the end of March 2026. So even at the current levels of around 40 odd rupees, there is not much recovery that has happened from the low. And several brokerages like MK Global have a sell call on the rating. And very recently, Vanguard has valued Ola Electric at around $70 million, which is a 99% downfall from its initial valuation, which it did in 2015.
But let's not forget that domestic demand continues to remain very strong, with Prime Minister Modi's comments that came in to increase electric vehicle usage. Perhaps demand is only set to get higher, isn't it?
Well, that is true. With PM's call, the sector tailwind is definitely there. But what is important to see is that the Ola's market share has fallen drastically. It used to be the #1 leader with around 35% market share, which is now significantly down, while all other players like TVS, Bajaj and Ather have grown in this duration.
And let's also talk about after-sales service and the fact that the company is also doing backward integration. The company has a Bharat Cell program through which it is looking to backward integrate. This is likely to be a positive, isn't it?
Yeah, that is true. But my ears on the street tell me that the after-sales service is a real pain point for customers. And despite repeated escalation, the company is unable to solve this issue.
Clearly, so after sales is a problem, but Avi, let's not forget that the fact that management continues to remain very positive, and for the first quarter of FY27, they are looking at about 550 crores of revenue, which is double than what it had reported in the previous quarter.
Well, I agree with that, but one metric I would like to see is that SoftBank, their biggest institutional backer, has trimmed its stake, which is now at around 13.5% as of January 2026.
So clearly, several positives and negatives. Let's wait and watch how the market tries to assess Ola Electric.
All right, so that was the bears and the bulls case on Electric. But then let's move on and let's take the other question. This is from Hector Almeida from Kolkata and IFCI. Kunal, that's the stock's name. 68.23. He wants to add more at this levels. Is that possible? The timeline is 6 to 12 months.
I think it's a good price where you can look to average or even add further for IFCI. I think over the last, few weeks, I had recommended buy. My expectation was that the stock would probably come back into a big reselective mode. We've seen that happening for IFCI. The stock, I think yesterday or day before, hit levels of 80 plus also. It's an attractive chart. Prospect on the long-term charts is very much on the positive side. I hope that plays out for IFCI. It depends on multiple scenarios of markets and the PSU rallies, etc. But purely on the charts, I would probably believe that the stock has potential. And since you purchased at lower levels, it's a good time where you can look to average.
All right, that was the last stock question for the day. Kunal and Sharmila, thank you so much for taking the time out and joining us and answering all the questions. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. I and Kavita will take your leave. Thank you so much for tuning in.